Because I've been on extra duty, it's a few things that I learned. When I found out that I've learned these traits through extra duty, it made me realize something. It's more than just being mad at the fact that you're on extra duty, but it's about, my mindset is about what can I take away from being on extra duty. There's a lot of reasons why people could be mad, they could be irritated, frustrated, want to hurt somebody because of that. But here's a few intangible things that I learned from being on extra duty. One of the first things I learned from being on extra duty, if I'm gonna be honest with you, is the fact that as a soldier, you have a duty. You have a duty. That duty is far beyond the service itself. It's to you, to your family, to the people that you support. I've been pulling weeds for the past, I don't know how many days. I'm on lunch right now, and I'm about to go pull some more weeds right now as we speak, after I get off of lunch. I've been pulling weeds, and I've been thinking, while I was pulling weeds, this is ridiculous. It's crazy, because I haven't pulled weeds in so long. I was entitled to a sense. I felt like I was too good to pull weeds. I felt like I was too good to put my hands into the dirt, into the soil, and twist the weed out, twist the root out, and pull that weed out, and throw it away. I felt like I was entitled. So let me tell you something. When I was pulling the weeds, I had my fingers in the dirt. I was reconnecting myself to the source. I was reconnecting myself to the spirit, to the earth. And I also realized it was about attention to detail. Even though I'm in these rocks pulling out weeds, doing crazy stuff, it still has to be pulled out because these roots it's gonna get in the way of the beauty of the overall structure of the facility. When I'm in these rocks and I'm pulling these weeds out, even the smallest ones, you have to pay attention to detail, because as you pull out the weeds, if you don't pull it out the right way, guess what's gonna happen to that weed? It's gonna keep growing. You have to pull it from the root. And that's something so deep behind that. Pulling from the root, uplifting, uprooting the things that you've been so entrenched into in your life that you have to go into the depths of your soul and pull it out and rip it out. I've been having to do that. So attention to detail is one of them. Going into the source, going into the spirit, going into myself, and realizing that I have to change something within myself, even if it's not even though I'm on this duty, on this extra duty, and I'm going through all of these issues, I'm going through all of these problems. Let me change this. It's probably getting away to the smoke. But even though I'm going through all of this, I can get mad. I can do all of that stuff, like I said earlier. But I'm taking all of these intrinsic values, and I'm learning. I've been cutting grass for the first time in I don't know how long. And I actually love cutting grass. Yeah, you might smell like grass. It might stink a little bit, or you might enjoy the smell, but it's the fact that you can take ownership of something. You can do something. You can cut the grass. You can make it look nice. You can make it look all trimmed up and neat and good for the home or for the workplace, and make it a habitable place. Like, your workplace is important, and that's a great feeling to have. It's a wonderful feeling, and I love that feeling. It's an amazing feeling. Cutting grass also allowed me to realize that it's attention to the small things, the details. How do you get even rows? How do you make the grass look aligned with the other grass? It might sound crazy, but cutting grass has given me a sense of peace. Hearing the lawnmower and nobody talking in my ear. I've been telling people, I'd rather be outside cutting grass than being in the office, because I've never been a person that was in the office. I've never been an office worker. I was a 92 Fox before I reclassed to a 92 Yankee. And for those who don't know, a 92 Fox is a petroleum supply specialist. A 92 Yankee is a unit supply specialist. 92 Yankees, they work in the office, and 92 Foxes, petroleum supply specialists, they work in the field, they work in the motor pool. They get oil on their hands, oil on their uniforms. They do what they do, work. They put their hands on the equipment, and they do what they do. I've always been used to using my hands. Even before I even joined the military, I'm more better with actually doing stuff, putting hands on and stuff. I've always been that type of individual. That's always been me. It allowed me to get back into myself. So attention to detail was one of the ones. The second thing that I could say that I have learned while being on extra duty is, well, I already said ownership. Ownership could be two. Ownership, we're going to fast track that. Ownership is two. Ownership is two because when you take pride in what you're doing, when I'm doing these things, pulling weeds, cutting grass, it's the ownership. I did that. Nobody else can take that away from me. I did it. I had to take ownership of that task that I had to do. And regardless of how I felt about the situation, regardless of any of that, I did what I had to do because that's what I had to do. Because of that feeling, I'm entitled to it. I have ownership on it. Nobody can ever take ownership away from you. If it's yours, it's yours. And don't ever let anybody take what's yours. That's what I had to understand and realize that that's an intangible trait, especially as a man. You have to have ownership over your domain, over what you have. And I feel like a lot of things that I was doing, I wasn't really having much ownership over it. These are intrinsic values for my life. It's not just military. I'm talking about for my life. It was ownership. I was so lackadaisical with things. I wasn't a proud possessor of many things that I had in my life. It was just, if you were there, you were there. But I didn't really have that intrinsic, this is mine. This is what I own. This is me. I didn't have that. when I was doing those tasks, I was doing it with a purpose, with pride. And there was times where I was a little irritated and I wasn't always purposeful with the extra duty task. Of course not. But while I was doing it, I had a sense of ownership. Number 3, and this is more related to the military. While I was on extra duty, one of the third things that I learned while being on extra duty is that nobody cares. Nobody cares about the fact that you're on extra duty. They might ask questions like, why are you here? Or what did you do? But nobody cares. They're still gonna tell you that you have to do these tasks. You have to clean floor 8 all the way to floor 1 and the stairwells. You're still gonna have to clean the laundry room. You're still gonna have to do all of these different tasks because you're here. Because the military told you that you have to go on extra duty, despite the fact that you might be innocent, totally, they do not care. You're here, you have to do the tasks that they put onto you. When I had to come to that realization, no matter how innocent I felt like I was, or how innocent or how ridiculous this situation was, nobody cares, man. People walk down, they might get you, they might look at you, they might walk over what you just mopped, walk over what you just swept. But nobody really cares. Nobody cares. People have become more selfish and internalized with themselves. Nobody ever really asked the next man, how are you today? Why are you on extra duty? Why are you here? Are you okay? Can I do something for you? Can I get you a water bottle or something like that? Can I do something for you? Nobody really did that. And it made me think like, dang, maybe I have been selfish too myself. When was the last time that I offered to give somebody a water bottle? I had somebody gifted me a water bottle while I was pulling weeds. And it was one like, wow, thank you. I appreciate that. It made me look into myself. When have I ever, in the last 6 months, offered somebody something because of the fact that they were working hard or they were doing something nice? I'm talking more so from an aspect of just somebody random, not including my coworkers. Coworkers, I take care of my career. And besides them, like somebody that I don't know. When was the last time that I took it upon myself to look out for them? And I couldn't tell you. It made me look into myself again with that because I don't do it. If I want a better world to live in, I have to make sure that the next man is always taken care of, the next woman is always taken care of, that I'm taken care of, always looking out for other people, because we don't do that. That's an issue in our society. The way that we are raised in this culture, in this society, is not healthy. The fourth thing that I realized while I was on extra duty, at the end of the day has to end. The day has to end. At some point, no matter if you're on 14 days of extra duty or if you're on 45 days of extra duty, it's gonna come to an end at some point. I'm talking about from a micro level to a macro level. It's gonna come to an end. If it helps you, take it day by day. It starts at this time and it ends at this time. If you can make it to this end time, you're gonna always be okay. Just take it by small steps. Also, even on a big level, if you have 45 days extra duty, that's a long time. It's a hefty time to just be doing extra duty, extra work, working beyond the means that you normally work. Take it upon yourself to always remember the fact that it has to come to an end. It's not forever. It's not forever at all. It comes to an end. Everything has a starting point and an ending point. It has to. When you're in those moments of life, not just the military, in life, where you feel like you're going through the hills and the valleys, through the lowest points of your life, just remember that it always has to come to an end. It's so cliche to say, I understand. You have to always remember the fact that it always has to come to an end. When I'm going through those deepest, darkest moments, one of the things that keeps me grounded, keeps me going, keeps me allowing me to withstand the storm is to know that it always has to come to an end, even when it feels like it doesn't come to an end. And when you feel like you're at those moments where it feels like it's forever, it's gonna be eternal, always take a moment to step back out of that reality, literally, physically take yourself out of that situation and take a few deep breaths, 5 to 10 deep breaths, intentional deep breaths. Do some breath work. And then reassess the situation, re-engage the situation a different way. Then once you feel like you're mentally ready to go back to what you were doing, then you can do that. And one of the last things that I want to say about being on extra duty is that it takes a certain somebody to go through something because of what they have done or because of how others perceive them, even if they're innocent or guilty. But even regardless of whether you're innocent or guilty and you've been put on extra duty, I think one of the most important things that I learned was that at the very end of the day, you have a task, you have a job, you have a duty to do. And you owned up to it, you took it to the chin, you did what you had to because you had to do it. And beyond anything, you went in there, guilty or innocent. You did what you had to do and you made it out. With a smile on your face or a frown on your face, but you did it. And that speaks volumes because when other people doubted you, when other people looked at you as less than, when people assumed you, pre-assumed or prejudged a situation as to why you're here, you withstood the test of time. You allowed yourself to not fall into those gaps. You allowed yourself to realize that even though people may have preconceived notions of me or have these these thoughts about me because I'm on extra duty, that I was still able to stand firm in what I was doing. Stand firm in what I was doing. I stood 10 toes down on what I was doing. I didn't let those thoughts, those people's thoughts, I didn't let people knock me off my trail. And that's more powerful than anything, because that shows resistance. It shows resilience. It shows brilliance. It shows that no matter what goes on in your life, nobody's stopping you from what you're doing, what you want to accomplish, what you have to do because you have to do it. And that's more powerful than anything. Like the video, subscribe, and share with anybody who think might enjoy this content, as always. Until next time, I love y'all.